Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Go Mode Podcast Mentor Tournament of 2021. We are in Swiss Round 3 this week. We have here a race between DBlickly and tarouza. I am Espeon, and with me today in the commentator's booth is VeXtopher. How you doing?
Doing pretty good today. Yeah, so today, round 3, our mentors for this evening. For DBlickly, we've got KegInTheCloset, and for tarouza, we have Jesse, aka Radical Sniper 99.
So just to get a little bit of background on the race here, both of our runners are 0 and 2 so far, so someone is getting a win tonight for sure.
Yeah, that's right. And hopefully they feel good about their mentors. They feel good about the improvements that they've been making. So we'll see some confidence, some new tricks. DBlickly is having just some minor controller issues, so we'll be back in a second. There we go. All right, so the mode for tonight is, as with the rest of the Swiss rounds in the Mentor tournament, is open assured sword. So we'll be starting with a sword, but it is an open mode, so they can start in either Sanctuary or in Link's house. And I'm not really sure what the tendencies of these two runners are, but we'll see if we get some divergence with the Sanctuary start and a Uncle start. I know you have strong opinions about the Uncle start.
I do have strong opinions about the Uncle start, but we will see how this goes. It is certainly very common, so I would not be surprised if we saw it.
Yeah, it's kind of the beauty of open is that, you know, both routes are routes you can take. I'm not really sure, you know, where the items are is obviously the better route. I personally am a, Sanctuary starter, starting that CAC village, but that may be you rubbing off on me.
It's definitely the case, because I know there are some fairly good runners who will do Uncle start.
And there we go. Instant divergence.
I like it. So we have gotten the shield in Link's house, which will probably lose a lag frame or two, and a heart container in Sanctuary.
We'll never know if that was the Sank heart. I like what tarouza's doing over here, grabbing that sign. If you are going to do the Uncle start, get that tier 1 triple. Just green rupees though, nothing too useful.
Also, we have 2 vanilla Link sprites going on today.
Hey, I haven't seen that in a while.
It's the best sprite, maybe, but I am surprised a lot of people do like the custom sprites.
We're DBlickly skipping out on the heart piece. We got the ice rod down in the basement of the Uncle area. So we'll see. Oh, we're not even grabbing the arrows in the drop down in the thieves hideout. I personally usually just grab that item. Almost faster to grab it than it is to register it in my head.
Yeah, if you have good reaction time, you can hold down left and then switch to right if the item is something you would like to get. But that does require you to make a decision very fast. And sometimes if it's a junk item like a red rupee that you still want, because we're looking for 100 rupees as we go through Kakariko, you will need to make that snap decision really fast.
Oh, Cane of Samaria. First chest in front of escape. Alright, we'll find some bombs in Blind's hideout. I'm sure that's a welcome sight for DBlickly. As well as the mirror.
The mirror will make escape much, much nicer when DBlickly gets around to that, so I have to say that Uncle Start was probably a big mistake in the seed.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. No. Yeah, he can death warp pretty quick if he decides to do that and go into, the back escape dark, but back to Dark Cross, but we don't have the key yet, so you probably don't want to do that. So I imagine that tarouza is actually just going to save and quit after grabbing this last chest here.
Oh, I'm not going to freeze the guard. The best ball and chain strategy.
That is a swaggy strat. All right, so we're probably heading over to CAC on tarouza's side. Get a map check. Looks like it's a 2 normal pendants on Eastern and Hera, and a normal crystal on Desert, if I saw that correctly.
Yep. Can't say I'm too excited about seeing all those pendants in the Light World. They're not usually a great thing to see there. Since Light World dungeons are usually shorter and faster, you very often do want to see crystals there, although Crystal Eastern can occasionally be weird. Actually, Eastern is just weird no matter what.
Yeah, unless you get a bow early, it always feels bad, especially if there is progression in the front. Or a bow in Eastern, heaven forbid.
It does happen, and you're very sad when it does.
Okay, on tarouza's side, we saw DBlickly skip that heart piece. tarouza went ahead and grabbed it. Just some added safety for later. We'll get our library check here real quick. And we also found the flippers as well as the bow. We got a master sword on the library. That's some good knowledge to have going forward. Although we may never find the boots, so...
Something to consider as we're coming into the next set of checks here. Could be South Shore or possibly Uncle, depending on routing, but most likely South Shore, is that we do have flippers. So we are going to be looking for about 150 rupees throughout this region, aiming to get Zora money. Very important to not isolate Zora. 500 is a decent amount, but it's usually achievable in most games, especially with the use of Houlihan. However, we don't have Houlihan as an option here. I think if I was mentoring or running this, I would probably have done Houlihan just before going to South Shore even. Oh, well, there's the
we can now. Now we can Houlihan at the back of escape, which I'd imagine after, well, depending on the money in Mini Moldorn Cave and Ice Rod Cave, they will probably decide to go do that Houlihan, although if they find the money, we'll need it.
Mm-hmm. And so here's a common misconception, I think, is that bow makes Eastern good. Bow does not point to very much in Eastern at all. It points to the boss as even just opening things, and the boss is you can roughly rate the boss as like half an item in Eastern because it might just be the map or compass. And so you consider like bow opens half an item. And it's not even in logic yet. It's not a very good pointer. Bow is a much stronger pod tell than Eastern tell. And especially with Pendant Eastern, I don't think I even rate Eastern any higher than I did before.
Alright, we got our Moon Pearl in Mini Moldorn Cave. So that's going to make Dark World access available as soon as we find another pair of mitts or the hammer. I don't think we got a lumberjack check from anybody, so...
Don't believe so. There's an interesting CAC routing difference that we're seeing. Tarouza opting to play it a little bit safer, not go straight into Blind's Hut. And I believe DBlickly went straight into Blind's Hut, even with no bombs, and did get lucky with the bombs in there.
Yep, we went and bought bombs first thing into CAC. I think we checked back to Tavern. I think I'm a little more of a fan of not risking it and just going to buy the bombs because I've got the money. So we're 100 rupees short right now in Ice Rod Cave of Zora money. So looks like we're gonna go over to the hobo, most likely. See what he's got for us. Hopefully 100 rupees.
The thing about Eastern is that it does have 3 Sphere 1 checks. They're just not good checks. They're slow. And if I have Dark World access at all, I think I would prefer that.
3 of them, 3 checks, one of which without a lamp is possibly out of logic. 2, possibly even 2 of the items can be out of logic in Eastern. So you have at a minimum 1 item in Sphere 1 you can check out of in logic without the lamp. All right, looks like we did get money from Hobo, so we're gonna save and quit. I'd imagine we're gonna see a back of escape check into a Houlihan. What do you think?
Yeah, that definitely sounds like a reasonable thing to do. We get those 3 checks quickly, and if none of them are money, then we have our guaranteed source.
So we haven't checked the front of escape here for DBlickly, so don't think we're going to see them go into Dark Cross no matter what they find. And with that mirror, you can just route that in if it does have an item with the front, since the mirror makes that so much nicer.
And that is confirmation that Key is in Dark Cross, so we are almost certainly not going to see that from either of our runners. Then perhaps a bit of discussion on what to do next. Going to Link's house. So are we getting escape then? Looks like we're getting escape.
Yep. I think that's reasonable. Out of logic, up the mountain right now. It's not very good. Can't get anywhere other than Smack Rock. And, well, I guess you could get up to Hera.
I have to say I was slightly worried about DBlickly not going to front of escape and therefore missing out on the Samaria and Ice Rod that are here. But we're going here, so no worries.
Oh, we're getting the magic. I think we're gonna throw the guard in the back.
We'll see. There's a much better option now than throwing the guard, which is just using the bow. And 4 bow shots will kill ball and chain. And freezing the guard is actually not that fast. It looks very fun, but it's not that great.
Alright, looks like we're the same 100 rupees short over on Tarouza's side. Really more like 150 since we had to buy bombs.
Oh, there is the rupee cave. So in that rock is a cave with 20 rupees under pots, and it is an option to farm for money, but I don't think it's a very good one generally because it's rather slow. And it's only 20 a pop. So if you have, for example, 480 rupees or 460 rupees, it's a pretty good option. But I don't think this is worth doing if you're down 100.
Especially with that back of escape check left to do and the mids.
Yeah.
You know the Houlihan's an easy setup, so.
The thing about this is that it will basically result in Zora draining all of your money. And you won't have any extra, and given that we have the bow right now, and Pod is probably a reasonably good place to go in the near future, I would be concerned about money count. Not to mention that just like going in and out of this cave a lot is slow, and you don't get any extra money. So we do have 500 now, though, so we can head over to Zora. And I'm not saying that doing this with the cave is always bad, but I think in this situation, Houlihan, because it gets you so much extra money, and because you might need that money in the future, and because you're a reasonable amount away from actually having 500, I think Houlihan is better here.
Yeah, that would actually put them with enough money for Zora plus pod, just straight up. Looks like we're getting Agina over on DBlickly's side.
There's nothing else leading us over here, so this is interesting.
We're also running a little low on checks. We have Spec Rock and Eastern.
But we do have here another Ruby Cave. So this one is actually better. This one has 50. So that you can see there's 10 pots and each one has a blue rupee. So this one is better. It's actually a lot better just because you don't have to do the transitions as often, and because DBlickly didn't have to buy bombs due to that blindside gamble at the beginning, it means that we can head into this cave, get our 50 rupees, and now we've got Zora money. So I actually think this makes a lot more sense.
That's actually not a bad idea, because then it lets you do something else while you're running over to Agina. You're gonna save and quit out the back, most likely, anyways.
This is clever. I think I would prefer Houlihan anyway, just because I want the extra money for potential pod in the future, and that essentially gives you future options. But this is also quite good because it kind of gets a isolated check out of the way, while also making it sort of valuable. And I expect that we'll get a Zora check from DBlickly. I did not see what was on Zora Ledge.
I'm not sure we walked over far enough.
We'll assume that it's nothing we'll assume that it's nothing important if it gets skipped, and if it doesn't get skipped, we'll see what it is.
Yep. All right, we're gonna get. I'm not sure that tarouza checked Highly Island when he was over here, because we save and quit straight out of the.
We did definitely see what it was from at least one runner, but not sure if tarouza saw it. Yeah. Oh no, there's a shovel. Alright, at least quickly we'll get it.
Yuck. Not really what you want to see when you walk all the way to Zora.
But hey, it looks like this is an item. It is the lamp.
Yeah, there we go. That, Still no Dark World access, so we're looking at Saha's Closet. Eastern, Spec Rock. And if we find boots first, this is going to look a whole lot like an Agassiz. So if I'm the runners, I'm probably still wanting the boots, even though it probably makes this an Agassiz.
Boots probably doesn't mean it's an Agassiz. Lumberjack is relatively uncommon, just as a reason for a given seed to require Aghanim.
But we're almost out of. We're just about out of checks, though. Given everything, we know there's a Master Sword on Library.
I mean, we've got Shovel. We've got It doesn't actually look that much like an Agassiz because we really just get access to pod.
Did give us lamp and
a big thing to look at when evaluating Agassiz is kind of like what does the game give me access to after I've done Aga? And so in this case, we get access to pod, which is not actually that bad because of the bow, but we don't get access to West Dark World, which is kind of the big thing that you want. You want Hookshot. So if we get Hookshot here, I mean East Death Mountain opens, but then it starts to look more like Aghanim Seed.
All right, we're chasing both these shovels for our 20 rubies.
And it looks like we are going to Pendant Eastern on tarouza's side.
Well, maybe even just Saha's Closet. We haven't seen that yet.
But I don't think you go to Saha's Closet and you have bow lamp in hand. I don't think you skip Eastern. especially given that our number of checks is starting to diminish.
Although if they find Dark World access in Saha's Closet,
Of course,
sure we'll see it.
Then it's very different. Now, DBlickly choosing to go up the mountain instead. So let's see what we get here.
Money.
Yeah, this is very interesting. Rando's choosing different options. I have a suspicion that mountain is probably a little better. But we will see how the items play out.
I mean, besides the fact that Eastern's a pendant dungeon, I mean, it is, 6 items in the Eastern Saha's Closet area and just 3 plus Hera. We can full clear Hera, so I guess that. Yeah, so Eastern Hera. I think the mountain probably is better here.
Yeah, part of it to consider is that the save and quit point will make a future trip to the mountain faster. DBlickly getting really bullied by boulders here, unfortunately.
Good thing we got that save and quit point. So we are going into Eastern.
One potential factor here actually could be Fighter Sword Moldorm, which is what will be awaiting DBlickly at the top of Tower of Hera. It's not a very fun fight, especially without boots or any other kind of safety to apply potentially. So that might be a potential factor. Kind of also Hera being not a very good dungeon to be clearing right now. If the big key's in the basement, then you're basically committing to doing Hera basement.
That's true. Let's see, so...
But do we get a Dark World map check? We don't.
We do not. But it does look like, at the very least, we have nothing on Spec Rock, both inside and out. So it looks like it's either Eastern or Hera. It's our progression. I think that's all we've got left.
There's 1 item in Hera, so I think we're down to 1 item in Hera and 2 items in Eastern.
Yep.
1 item in Eastern.
Wow, we've got 1 item in both.
Alright, one of them's progression. Let's see which one.
It's really interesting that both of our runners are in these 2 pendant dungeons, one of which has the progression. Kind of funny how it shakes out. I think, yeah. Let's just hope we don't have to go to Hera basement. But I don't think in this case, with only Eastern and Saha's Closet, you leave it.
No, I mean, it would be such a pain to get back up the mountain.
Oh, there it is. Hammer and Hera.
Yeah, and we're just leaving.
Dipping out, we got both items.
Tarouza got all the items, I'm pretty sure. Alright, there we go.
Yep, looks like it. So Tarouza's gonna have to head up the mountain and get that hammer out of Hera. We'll see where we're heading for DBlickly.
It looks like DBlickly may have acted slightly more rashly than Keg had intended, because it looks like we are reclimbing to go to East Death Mountain.
Yep.
I think this is, in the case that you've already save and quit, I don't think this is the correct thing to do. Like you've kind of already... You've already committed to leaving the mountain with the save and quit. I think your time is actually better spent going somewhere in Dark World.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been something like Keg had said, hey, leave. We've got everything.
Yeah.
And we saved and quit instead of mirrored.
It's like, oops. It's very much non-obvious that you should be mirroring out.
Now, because it's Moldorm up on the mountain, is there any chance that that you would have cleared the dungeon with the hammer while you were already up there?
Probably not. I mean, hammer unlocks so many more things. Like there's not only East Death Mountain, but there's the entire Dark World loop. I don't think I clear it. It just seems like you're basically investing in the pendant for the slim chance that it's pedestal, which I don't think is worth like structuring a route around until you start running out of things, and we just got a ton of things to do.
I think I agree with that. I probably would have gotten out of there as soon as I got that hammer. Also, it being the second item, you really have only the pendant. These red, what are they called?
Tektites. They are pretty
Tektites.
bad. The thing is, about them, if you swing your sword at them, they will always jump away from you. So you can actually pretty easily get them out of your way. You just have to be aware of this.
Tektites, one of the worst enemies. Probably third worst enemy, I'd say. Second only to crabs, and third only to crabs and dead rocks.
Oh, you've missed the chain chomps there.
Oh, you're right. Chain chomps. I do hate the chain chomps.
Mini Moldorms are also a strong contender for a high slot.
Hey, is that a play on getting altituded by a mini Moldorm drop?
I mean, they're just bad. They like to dodge you. So I think a lot of the players in this tournament haven't played as much, like, open randomized swords. Kind of used to having a sword, but once you do mini Moldorm Cave without a sword enough times, you start to really hate them.
Oh,
Tarouza, careful there.
Oh, the same conversation I believe just happened on Tarouza's side.
Yep, Jesse just a little bit faster in intervening. Alright, so you're not going to lose time to saving and quitting, so that saves some of the time that they lost to the Eastern Dip. But we are also going to head over to East Death Mountain. It's just the natural thing to do.
Yep, alright, and we gotta walk around a long way, of course. We're here to get to Village of Outcasts. It's like, probably wishing we had done a map check earlier.
It is actually very tricky to remember to do a map check as you're going to Hera. It's kind of, hang on. Okay, so we have green pendant mire and red crystals in ice and pod.
Yeah, that really makes pod pretty appealing.
Yeah, DBlickly will probably benefit from having the mirror when they go there. So I expect that we will see at least... I expect we will see an Eastern Dip as we go over, but we will have saved time by doing everything in one loop rather than splitting it up. DBlickly, please check C-shaped house, or not C-shaped house, chess game. You kind of just walked right past that. You gotta remember to do your checks in Village of Outcasts.
You need 50 gold, don't you? 50
no,
rupees.
No, it's 30.
Oh, it's 30.
We do actually have enough money.
Here you go. Knowing how much the chess game is, look, we're learning today.
Chess game is 30. Dig game is 80. So it is important to know how much these cost because of situations like this.
Now, do you think there's a chance that we're gonna go be doing some bow game? Now it doesn't.
No. No, I mean, like if you were to do archery game, you would need 20. I'm pretty sure it's 20. Yeah, from inverted, it's 20. So, you'd probably do thieves first, and then if you didn't get any money, like hopefully you at least got 20 rupees out of thieves.
Yeah, I think that was probably the play though, because they went straight back to the chess game as soon as they got that 100 rupees. So it probably was going to be C-shaped house into Thieves Town and then down to the archery game if we didn't get the money. But we did, so we're okay.
But yeah, I mean they could have just done archery, not archery, the chess game. So it was like, hey, money.
And there we got the boots in Thieves Town first chest. That's not boding too well for tarouza and starting Hype Cave here. We're gonna be a little bit of time on those boots. Thieves Town first chest is a pretty good place to get those boots too, because they just feel so good in Thieves Town.
Yep, got these nice long hallways at the top. Can people stop going to the top entrance here? It's not good. Like, the big reason it's not good is because you get bunny beamed. Now, tarouza is going to be going over to Palace of Darkness right away, which makes a lot of sense. You come in here and, oh look, it's a crystal, and I have everything I can need to do it. Not 100% sure about not doing Pyramid also, but because Pyramid is kind of hard to route, and we may not have Ice Palace for a while, depending on where myths are.
Yeah, that would be the choices are go check it now, or hope you get myths and check it with Pyramid Fairy after Ice. But, 2 crystal dungeons it's looking like. We'll see which dungeon leads us to better progression.
Something similar to that. Oh yeah, this is a kind of a nasty hallway.
Yeah, that fire snake just decided to be really bad.
When to check catfish? Okay, so the fact that we have mirror makes catfish a lot easier to route. Because mirror opens Graveyard Wedge, and having boots actually on DBlickly's side also opens King's Tomb. So the easiest way to route in catfish is to kind of do a North Dark World pass. You check Bonk Rocks, Graveyard Wedge, King's Tomb, and catfish afterwards.
Probably the front of Skull Woods.
Yeah, also with that. It's not the most efficient thing, but it loops together a lot of kind of otherwise bad locations. DBlickly is on 2 hearts here.
Yeah,
not one hit kill range with our blue mail, but still very scary.
Yeah, every time you go through those hallways or in those rooms, you're just playing a game of chicken with those silly grasshoppers.
Now, these surprise pack information, these red Zazaks and a lot of the enemies here in Thieves Town, the blue Zazaks and the jellyfish, they're all in the kind of variety prize pack that I like to call it, but in this seed that maps onto the fairy prize pack, so it's the pack with a fairy net. So there's a fairy right there, and that will help DBlickly a lot with the health problem.
Yeah. Now, how important do you think for a newer runner is it to at least have some idea about prize packs?
If you're running standard, pretty important. If you aren't running standard, you probably don't want to be devoting brain space to it. Like, you should be thinking about your routing and your execution, not like obscure prize pack information.
Oh, missing the key dash there. Making our way through Thieves Town. I think there may be one more item left on the boss. And other than those boots so far, we did find the Fire Rod and Pod. So that makes that North Dark World clear that you were talking about, the Loop and Catfish, actually even more appealing, as we can essentially do all of Village of Outcast, as well as clearing Skullwoods and routing in Graveyard Ledge into Catfish. Lock rocks and
But
King's
that's perhaps a bit for later. I think going to Thieves Town would be better. So we should explain the Mentor tournament. So the idea of the Mentor tournament is an introduction to tournament racing and to the general racing scene, as well as higher level play of A Link to the Past randomizer for newer players. And so we've got here our two runners, and they're both relatively new players paired up with mentors who are the more experienced ones. And so VeXtopher and myself actually happen to be a mentee-mentor pair. We've done a few races together. And now I'm mentoring him in commentary as well, apparently. So that's always fun.
I get the help where I can get it. No, the Mentor tournament has been a great way to just try to get involved in the community in general, and it really is a brilliant idea. All right, looks like we're on our way here through a check bumper ledge after Thieves Town. Just 300 rupees. We're gonna get a lumberjack check.
Yeah, we have boots now, so may as well grab it.
Yeah, I think we're likely gonna see here a North Dark World clear into pod then. Oh, half magic.
Ooh.
Not getting that probably, unfortunately.
Yeah, I actually do like this route a decent amount. It kind of works well if you get mitts here, because then you can do Smith Chain as you go through the bottom. I think they're both okay, but this route does make a lot of sense.
You're talking about
yeah, this North Dark World route here. Losing out on Skullwoods is not really a huge deal because we know Fire Rods and Palace of Darkness, so we'll go back there pretty quickly.
Yep. It's one of the easier Dark World dungeons to get to once you have Dark World access.
As far as so Ben, as far as time is concerned, DBlickly has some advantage by going to Hera instead of Pendant Eastern and getting Hammer there. So DBlickly is probably a little quote-unquote ahead just by doing that. Also having boots earlier does save a bit of time.
So I guess we'll see whether or not we dip Eastern after this pod clear, since we do have the mirror. I don't know if I would or not. I don't think I would.
In this situation, doing Eastern kind of or pod kind of in the middle of your Dark World, I think you probably don't, just because you still have Hype Cave open. Although it depends on exactly how this is being routed. Like if DBlickly chooses to go up to Catfish instead of going into pod, then we could be looking at something completely different.
Right, gonna take down the Helmosaur. Get a couple of heart drops, just filling up. We do have the bow, and we're on Fighter Sword. I imagine that's what we'll see.
DBlickly is not going in the direction I expected. Okay.
Are we going back to check the front of Skullwoods? Maybe no.
Nah, we're just like going down. I mean, this is fine. I just think that's kind of that was basically your best chance to check Catfish, and you're now isolating it permanently.
Or we did get a bottle. So we do the sick kid check. Got just some bombs on the sick kid. Yeah, I think you're right. I think we're gonna go do some digging. Head down to Hype Cave. This is.
We are gonna pick up.
Oh, we're gonna pick up the Master Sword. That is actually...
It's a very good pickup.
That might be one of the reasons they went back. There's just some comfort that comes with having a Master Sword in the Dark World.
It's a big damage upgrade. I mean, all the swords in this game are big damage upgrades, except Gold Sword, but that's kind of because once you hit Gold Sword, you're already, like, you're doubling over enemy health pools, and it doesn't matter because your Tempered Sword is already one-shotting most of them anyway. But getting, like, the difference between Fighter Sword and Tempered Sword is a factor of 4. So you could see earlier, tarouza was in the pod turtle room and was hitting these turtles with the Fighter Sword, and it takes 4 hits to kill them. But Master Sword takes 2, and Tempered takes 1. So you really get a very significant boost from having stronger swords.
That's a long dig game.
And all for a red rupee.
It's kind of disheartening when you get a red rupee from the dig game, since while you're digging, you get several other red rupees.
Yeah, I mean, it's even worse when you get a green rupee out of there. It's
Got
like, did I really dig up anything special? Did I get a prize at all?
Yeah. Now we did check K45. Nothing but arrows in there. Go see what Stumpy has for us today. The book.
No, that is interesting.
Very.
I think I would kind of have to check Bombo's tablet here. Like, pod is fairly easy to get back to. You just kind of go to 5, or you dash there, and it's faster than going to 4. And I mean, it's Bombo's tablet. You just got here.
It looks like we're saving that.
I think Hype Cave first is better. Like, you do Hype Cave and then you terminate at Bombo's tablet, or save and quit.
But with pod available, do you think they'll run up to pod instead?
I would go to Bombo's tablet, but pod is also fine. A lot of this comes down to kind of playing style. So we will get to see, I guess, what Keg's routing style looks like, and that looks like going up to pod.
We are going to get a pyramid check here. Looks like. Don't believe that tarouza did this. So.
Is that a -5 out of 10 rating on Hype Cave? I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to go below 0.
-5. Oh, we're just gonna grab it, whatever it is. Oh, we're not. I don't know. You already jumped down there. I might have grabbed 50 rupees.
I mean, the 50 rupees are not that important because after this, we're gonna get a pod, and then we really have very little else to spend money on. The most is going to be the big bomb, and I mean, you just have to get 50 rupees somewhere.
Well, I was more making the comment that we already jumped down and walked back up to check it.
Yeah, but you still shouldn't get those. The fact that you've already put the time in to look at it in kind of a less efficient manner doesn't mean you should also put in the time to get something that will give you no benefit.
The habits I need to break. This is kind of nice for DBlickly because we can route in Saha's closet while we're just heading over to pod. Now, there is a spot you can put that mirror that is directly outside of Saha's door, so you can hit that portal a little quicker. But still efficient routing to get that in there.
You can crash the game. It is possible.
And you were correct in predicting a Thieves Town dip first. I think that makes sense. You're still a fighter sword. You might not necessarily want to go do moth on fighter sword.
So Ben is talking about checking Desert Ledge, and I'm actually looking at the items, and yeah, wait, why didn't we just go to Bombos in the desert and just clear desert? Wait, that just makes way more sense. Okay, I missed that because I'm not running this, and routing is hard when you're not actually running. But yeah, I actually don't like not going to desert now.
Yeah, since pod, I guess pod being so much easier to get back to from just save from a save and quit, maybe.
I mean, it's not really that bad exactly. Like you can still do all these things. It's just that you were kind of already in Dark World.
All right, our runners are just tracing each other's steps, just in a slightly different order right now. So if you haven't yet, the Go Mode podcast, the bi-weekly episode came out last night.
Yeah, the Go Mode podcast is a great way to stay up to date with a link to the past randomizer news and info and all that kind of stuff. The hosts are great in running this great tournament, hosting it for us.
Yeah, I would say that the Go Mode podcast website is just full of links of the things that they talk about, full of resources for running the game, resources for learning about the game. All of the episodes, interviews with the other community members. It really is just a great overview of everything going on. So if you haven't checked out the Go Mode podcast, highly recommend it.
So here's an interesting thing about pod being a red crystal. The red crystal is useless unless you have both. So this doesn't actually have any extra value right now. It just kind of has extra potential value that is only useful with mitts. So that's interesting. Like I think red crystals are not to be valued additionally until you can do both. And Tarouza here in the blind fight, very off script. Probably needs to be careful here. Definitely needs to be careful here.
Oh, take. Did we get a fairy earlier? Yeah, we did. I thought we got a bottle with fairy. Samaria strats. Bonk on Blind's head. All right, getting through it. All right, so that's a 1 crystal lead now for Tarouza. Picking up his second crystal over in Thieves Town, having already cleared pod. Looks like we're gonna go grab that Master Sword most likely.
Blind is vulnerable to multiple different weapons. The sword is the most common, but there's also the hammer, the Cane of Samaria, and the Cane of Burna. The Cane of Burna in particular is pretty good because it also gives you invincibility, so it makes Blind very safe.
Yep. Yep. In swordless modes, and in I know sometimes if you're very unlucky with swords in randomized swords modes, you may end up with a hammer blind, which can be fun.
Forced Burna blind is arguably worse because the magic consumption is very tight, and you need to be very careful with your magic in order to be able to finish the fight. What can be on Ped? Chad is always obsessed with Ped. I suppose I will indulge this time. Let's see.
Quake. No, we don't know that actually.
I mean, Quake can technically be on Ped. The hook shot.
Yeah.
Is
Actually,
the only thing.
Yep. I mean, pretty much hookshot or hookshot and Quake, and that's only if Quake is the TR entry, and if Restreamer is something else.
Yeah, so tarouza doesn't have the book though because it's on Stumpy. So we actually won't get a ped check here. I expect that DBlickly will do a ped check once we're finished up with Pod here and likely head over to Skullwoods. It's a crystal. We might see Desert first out of DBlickly. I think that's more likely. But Skullwoods certainly at some point, and then we will get the ped check.
Unless we're in go mode after Desert. Alright, heading back to Moth here. Looks like we're gonna save as much magic as we can. Interesting note, Ether Tablet does kill all of the Gibdos.
Yeah, Ether is one of the best safeties for Skullwoods actually, just because it has this very nice property. The Boomerang is also really good because it stuns them.
Oh, that bottom torch failing us. Making it through the second time.
Here's a tip. Bunny beams are really annoying, but you revert immediately if you take any damage. So if you actually have the health to afford taking damage, you should just run into an enemy, and it will get you going faster.
Alright, let's see how this Moth fight goes. Starting it off with a spin.
Not to mention King Helmasaur over on DBlickly's side as well. You've got simultaneous boss fights. I think Helmasaur is going a lot better here.
Well,
Off, get out of the corner.
We're not taking a lot of damage, at least. We're doing some good dodging, but Moth is not being very nice. There we go, Moth's down. Overall, pretty good fight, especially considered Moth just really would not behave.
And now we have DBlickly's 2 crystals to tarouza's 3. Looks like we are not going to get an Eastern dip on DBlickly's side though. We have not done Eastern, but we have so we haven't done it on tarouza's side. We know there's nothing in there, but they don't know that.
I think we're gonna get the desert, or we're gonna get Bombos into desert. It looks like here.
Oh yeah.
So that's good. So they don't really lose. Getting that, doing it this way, they don't lose too much, I guess. An extra trip to the Hammer Peg teleporter into Dark World, but that's about it.
Yeah, I think it probably loses on the order of like 3 or 4 seconds. Not a huge deal at all.
Gonna do a bomb jump in the front of Skullwoods here to get to that big chest. Oh. Not quite close enough. I think we're still not
Yeah, they're not actually doing the spin setup here, which is interesting. Just kind of positioning, which is a viable thing you can do. Like, raw positioning is definitely a way to do bomb jumps. It's just uh, considered by some people to be harder. Myself included, I prefer not to do the raw positioning unless I have to.
Yeah, I think the consistency you gain actually using that spin setup is just invaluable.
Swamp without hookshot. I mean, not yet.
Not yet, but we are getting a little when we have all of desert and we have all of Skull Woods, at least on DBlickly's side. And so I think I would definitely do those first. But we're not too far off of that being a something we could think about. Although you probably would go back up the mountain and check TR.
Are you gonna check TR without mitts?
Oh well, never mind. You're right. You're not.
I mean, if I had mitts, I'd probably go to ice first, honestly.
Yep. Yeah, being a 5/6 crystal. Yeah, so I'd imagine that mitts are going to be our next item. But you know, hey, I guess it could be hookshot, and then you're in swamp.
I missed what was in desert big chest. Actually, it was a key. It has to be the key. I don't know what I'm saying. DBlickly, you wanna? Okay. I assume this is controller issues and not holding right into a wall for no reason. We've escaped. We're making progress, even though we probably don't have control.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh, this is unfortunate. Controller issues are no fun.
Yeah, we're gonna fix that quickly. Tarouza going to go ahead and check Bonkox here. Probably do the North Dark World stuff.
Yeah, so we've got Graveyard Bed.
I really hope DBlickly did not unplug their controller, because SNES has problems with unplugging devices, and it likes to crash. If you unplug your controller, there's a very good chance that you just crash. Fortunately, the last save and quit we did was before, right before desert, so it won't lose too much.
It looks like we're still having controller issues because we're not.
Yeah, we're not progressing past this.
Oh,
there we
nope, looks like we're back.
Okay, it looks like we are just right before desert, so that's good.
Yeah, controller issues is not a way you want a race to go, especially one that's pretty close.
Yeah, the good thing is we don't have to do all these checks again, since there wasn't anything there. We can just run straight to desert. Actually, this is interesting. If you know that like there's only one item left in desert, do you consider that to be like a pre-dipped desert and you just don't go back or something? That's interesting.
I mean, we can clear it. We can clear it, and we have to clear it because it is a crystal.
Right, but what if you get food and mitts or something? Then it becomes much better. So it's like this interesting question of maybe you want to go to Skullwoods because you're gonna do that eventually, and you check pedestal and whatever, and then you go back to desert because maybe there's just progression in Skullwoods.
So we are gonna get our catfish check here. It looks like doing that North Dark World clear that you had suggested earlier, making catfish a check that is reasonable.
Yeah, I don't think Tarouza did Pyramid though, so we're going to have to wait for Pyramid Fairy to do that efficiently.
We do know it's nothing, so it's not going to bite him too much, but you're right. It might be itching the back of his mind. I'm going to pick up a couple of safeties here while we're at the potion shop or close. We most likely won't be back here unless we find a flute.
I don't know what's going on with DBlickly's controller. I assume that it is not kind of like a hardware problem. I assume it's a software problem, like the driver is bad or something like that. Don't
getting unlucky.
really know what would be going on in there.
Getting unlucky with the Desert Cannonball dash.
It is actually not luck. You can hear the cannonballs before you dash, so there's like a different audio cue which changes how you do the room because you can tell what the pattern will be.
That's good to know.
It is the pattern you get is random, of course, but it actually might not be random. I think it might be based on the amount of time you spend in the previous room, like the actual number of frames, rather than just kind of general fast or slow. So I think it may depend.
The cat not having anything for us today. Catfish.
And tarouza choosing to walk all the way out of Catfish and go to Pyramid. I'm not sure I agree with that. It's a pretty long walk. Oh, we are going up and then down. Okay.
Looks like we are gonna grab the 50 rupees on the tarouza side.
So where are we going now for tarouza? Since I think we've done everything. Like kind of everything.
Hookless Swamp, maybe?
Yeah, we actually have not done Stumpy and
that's true.
Those things.
So we don't know we have desert access on tarouza's side because we haven't been to Stumpy. But it looks like we might be doing Hookless Swamp. Oh nope, changed our mind. We've got Master Sword spin strats over here on Land Moles. Missing some of those fire rod shots. I haven't gotten that down yet myself, so.
DBlickly went for a really interesting strat here, which is like fire rod from the side. I don't think I've ever seen it, but it actually doesn't seem too bad because it doesn't actually seem that bad because land moves like jumps to the side a lot, and you can maybe get multiple hits, but I think you have to react very quickly for that. And I have a feeling that just kind of doing it from the top is going to be easier overall. On the other hand, you should do what is consistent for you. So if you find the side strat more consistent, then go for it. It'll be fun to do something different.
Alright, yeah, just cleaning up these South Dark World checks on tarouza's side. Looks like we're gonna head into Skull Woods, most likely on DBlickly's side. See, it's not done that yet. Still no mitts from either runner.
Yeah. So late mitts. I'm counting the digs this time. I want to know how many it was.
Well.
Nice. It is a 30.
It's like a 30 dig game.
Yep, that is the maximum you can get, 30 digs. It is a number I believe chosen uniformly between 0 and 30. But yeah, 30 is the worst you can get.
That's gross. You just have to do it, so you're just like, and it's not fun.
The number of digs required is seeded though, so it will be the same for all players in the seed, and so you're not actually losing time over anyone else doing dig game. It just kind of turns dig game into this slightly weird variable length check, but it's usually good to do it anyway, as it is in the vicinity of some other fast things.
I just don't like it. It's just not fun. It's not fun to dig the shovel over and over again. I mean, unless other people really like the dig game. I'm sorry. If you like the dig game, more power to you. You dig those holes.
I enjoy optimizing the dig game. It is actually surprisingly difficult to optimize.
Yeah, I tried to copy you a couple of times, and I just gave up. I was like, wow, you know.
I have actually practiced the digging game.
See, that's the one that I will sit for I'll sit for 2 hours in Dark Mire practicing, but I don't know if I would be able to practice the dig game. Hookless Swamp, you're asking what's left, Raymond. I think the last item in Eastern on Landmos. Or on
we got all the items in Eastern.
Oh, we did.
Since tarouza made the early Eastern dip, I'm pretty sure he would have gone for Armos if it had an item. But yeah, we are looking at Hookless Swamp and Ether Tablet, and not actually Spike Cave. We don't have Spike Cave yet. So yeah, Hookless Swamp and Ether Tablet. So great set of items. I'm sure
Great. That is not fun.
For dig game, yeah, I do a zigzag sort of. It basically gets you more digs per tile you move, because you want to be moving as little as possible and digging as much as possible.
Seeing more Master Sword strats, Master Sword Fire Road strats on Mothula here. I'm personally a big fan of Hammer Moth. We do have a fairy.
Ooh, yeah, okay, that fairy is very useful.
Like I said, I'm personally a big fan of Hammer Moth myself, but that hitbox is not fun. I've spent way too much time on it. We're getting Moth down here.
You've probably spent more time on Hammer Moth than I have at this point.
I find it fun. Alright, we got our next crystal. We're tying the crystal count up here. No, we're actually ahead. 2 crystals now on...
I had one crystal.
I had 1 crystal. We're ahead desert.
Although,
we're about to go to land moles here.
Yep, that will not be the case for long.
Yeah, we're going to be about tied, and then everyone be right up and tied with thinking about, oh crap, all I have left is Hookless Swamp and Ether Tablet.
Yep. DBlickly has not yet checked pedestal, but I am expecting it in approximately 10 seconds.
Yeah, I would think that you almost have to check it here. And if it's something like the flute, you're really sad.
It can't be the flute. It
Oh,
can
it
only
can't
be
be
the
the
flute.
flute. That's what I meant. It can only be the flute.
The thing that you're sad about is powder.
Oh, just couch cash. Nothing on the pedestal. Pet is dead.
Good, maybe chat will shut up about it now.
You know, nobody's been talking about Ped.
That is untrue. I have received questions about pedestal.
Okay, you're right. Not bad. I think I just tuned it out. Yeah, I don't want to jinx myself. I played a lot of seeds at this point fairly recently, and I've yet to actually get a pet seed.
It is about a 3% chance. So by the time you play somewhere on the order of 40 seeds, you expect at least one.
Huh. So let's say we did the boss first in desert. We're gonna go grab the item. It definitely makes sense when your other choices are Hookless Swamp and Ether Tablet.
So
that
yeah,
was
we
the second item, right? Oh, we haven't checked Agina yet.
no, this Yeah, we will be checking Agina for tarouza, and here's the second item in Skullwood.
So yes, we are officially down to
Cool.
Hookless Swamp and Ether Tablet. I'm feeling the vanilla hookshot.
Where is DBlickly going? Catfish. DBlickly has not yet checked Catfish. Tarouza has, so we know it's nothing. I think it's a heart, actually. But, of course, we want to go check that. This is probably the closest we'll ever be.
Yep, nope, agreed. All these checks seem pretty bad, so no matter what they do,
yeah, I think
fine.
I think Catfish was probably correct to do here.
We're going to Ether Tablet. We really don't want Hookless Swamp.
Understandable. It's pretty bad. I would only go to Ether Tablet, though, if I was intending on also doing Spike Cave afterwards.
We do have a blue potion, so I think we did buy those on Tarouza's side. So we can sequence Blake Spike Cave.
It is also doable with Hookshot and just having full health with Blue Mail.
We don't have Hookshot.
Oh, you're right. Okay, it is doable with... It's actually impossible with our current equipment, I'm pretty sure. Without using the blue potion. We don't have the powder. We don't have the mushroom, which would make it possible through convoluted arcane glitches.
Oh, the cape. Those are not myths, but it does make Spike Cave doable now, though.
Oh, you're right.
That does make this a better.
Wait, that does actually open the check. That's kind of cursed, actually.
Yeah, that's gross. But you know what? At least it's there, and not like you go into Hookless Swamp and you get cape.
I mean, alternatively, there is just nothing here.
That's true. Oh, we haven't done an Eastern dip yet on DBlickly's side.
No. Although we do have more items this time compared to Tarouza's dip, so that might speed it up. We have boots at least, and that will make it a little faster.
Do we get the mitts in Spike Cave? No, we do not.
This is even more cursed.
Very trolly.
It's like, here is your item for Spike Cave. Haha, go waste your magic.
Yeah, ouch. Yeah, so where are we going now? I'm trying to think of what we haven't checked yet. Hammer peg. No, we can't get to hammer pegs. Yeah, I don't know.
I actually don't know where Tarouza's going. I'm trying to remember who has checked what. It may be like
Lumberjack, maybe. Have we not checked Lumberjack on Tarouza's side?
Tarouza already did Lumberjack. Actually, yeah, I think only DBlickly checked it.
Yeah,
we do know it's Swamp.
Yeah, at this point,
from the outside perspective, we are aware.
We're very sad for them, but we do know that it is. Maybe they'll be very lucky. It will be the first check of the Swamp. But more than likely, it's going to be the right side of left side.
So, obviously, you want Hookshot before Mitts here. I feel like that's pretty obvious. Because Mitts opens a lot, and Hookshot opens a little. Actually, Hookshot only opens the rest of Swamp, so you really just want Hookshot.
Yeah, right? Because then you don't have to double... I have a feeling they're going to get Mitts, though. Oh, this is gonna be gross if we get Mitts. Then I guess you just go do ice.
Yeah, I mean, having Mitts, it's not like super hard decisions. There's ice, there's Smith Chain, and there's TR. But you kind of don't want to go to Dark Death Mountain without Hookshot, and Smith Chain is just kind of always bad. So you probably just do ice into Mountain into Smith Chain if you really have already gotten nothing by then.
Oh,
I think everyone has done that before. So used to doing the well checks at the beginning of the game. You walk out of the well and then right back into the well instead of your portal. I have definitely done that once or twice.
Ken, I do not know what is in swamp. I could guess, but that would be pointless because it could be both of them or one of them.
Or powder or mushroom.
or it can be some fetch quest, yeah. Okay, what it can't be is it will not be just flute, which is kind of nice at least.
Although if you do see a flute, you're gonna feel pretty bad because you know you're gonna get mitts in here too.
Yes, Tarouza skipped Eastern boss as well. They have both skipped Eastern boss now, which is correct. For DBlickly, it's definitely correct because they know that pet is not an item. For Tarouza, it was just very early on in the seed and there was no reason to do it. Hookshot actually unlocks only the back of swamp right now without mitts, so getting hookshot here means that mitts are also here.
And that's go mode, nice. So most likely go mode. We don't know Turtle Rock Medallion, so it might not be.
And DBlickly has come to the same conclusion, going into swamp.
Yeah, we've basically cleared everything else, so so it looks like we're about half of Swamp Palace, half of the front of Swamp Palace lead for Tarouza. So really, fairly close race. Definitely in the Ganon Tower GT routing zone. Hookless Swamp is left side swamp is very slow, especially vanilla.
Let's get a vanilla hookshot. That would be fun.
Yeah, you know, I always hear the joke.
Fun? Did I say fun? I meant painful.
Every time I hear, every time we're in Hookless Swamp in a race or anything like that, everyone's always like, "Oh, it's gonna be a vanilla hookshot."
You gotta
never seen it.
I've seen vanilla hookshot in a Rando seed. I want to say twice. It wasn't very good.
Yeah, I mean, Hookless Swamp is never good.
Yeah, one time I got it, not last location, which was somewhat impressive. The other time it was last location because surprise.
All right, we're about to get the progression check here coming up. Just gotta drop down, grab one of these items. Will we go left or will we go right? I mean, correctly, you probably go left here, right? And then hope you get hookshot.
Left is correct because it's faster. That's the only reason.
Hey, we do get the hookshot.
Cool. Okay, wait, that's actually really good. So we have almost maybe go mode here.
And we should have go mode, actually. Well, other than the TR medallion.
Oh my goodness.
They're both left side swamp.
Absolute hilarity.
That's disgusting.
Alright, so Tarouza is in go mode with an asterisk, and DBlickly is approaching that rapidly. So I expect that we will get checks in the back of Swamp here. First because Master Sword serverless is not very fun, and also because we may need Quake.
Like, gotta walk up. I think walking up to grab the key.
Yes, please go into the center platform if you are coming from left side.
Not something you have to do too often, so I can understand. Not gonna try diver down here.
Now DBlickly here is doing diver down for some reason. This is not faster.
We're doing it with a bomb. Does get it. Wait, oh.
Oh, huh.
We're just...
You do need to go up. You have to get the switches to change color here so you can get to the mitts. If you don't do this, you will not be able to get mitts. Also, I will repeat, this is slower. You should not do diver down like this. As a method only to change the switch color. If you're just going to need to change it, you should just go out. Because you lose the time not to the trick, but mostly to waiting for the bomb to explode and like the screen transition. There are other reasons it's slower, and it's not just the execution of the trick.
The only time you want to do that, right, is if you already have the key and you've committed to left side, because you can do it all in one trip instead of backing around.
Yeah, that's different.
Got some Master Sword Argus here, slashing down the puff balls. What are those puffs called? Are they just called puffs, or is there like an official name?
There is a name, but I don't remember. I mean, it's not like they're very important. They don't like appear anywhere except on Argus. Parasites. Yeah, they are actually parasites, but I don't remember their actual name.
All right, we got a pretty good 4 spins. He's gone. Oh, we're forgetting the key. Yeah, you can see. I mean, if you haven't done left side swamp hookless before, it does just. Oh no!
Oh no! You picked up both of the pots. Oh, this is a tragedy. Have to screen transition now to get the pots back.
We get the anger bonk. Oh man, bonk.
The sad bonk of realization.
Yeah. The sad bonk of realization. Yeah. And we are getting the ice play. Natural. I think it's we gotta finish it. And we don't even know that we need Quake yet. Now, do you think they go mode ice, or do you think we pick up the items?
I think we pick up the items. I mean, we can get tempered, silvers, and Quake, and all of these, and also powder, and all of these are good things. You probably don't like fully pick up all the items. You probably just pick up the ones that are along the icebreaker route. But I don't think you just skip stuff here.
Yeah, so maybe you skip Pingator Room, but maybe you don't. It's not that slow.
It depends on whether you know the strat or not. I think if you know the fast strat, you would do it, and if you don't, you might skip it. Or you could also just do it.
Yeah, with hookshot, it's not so bad. Now, I will say that the bomb strats in this room just look cool. Right, going back to hit the switch, so it does look like we are... Oh, maybe? Yes.
I would be very surprised if anyone actually did IPPJ right now.
All right, we're gonna get an icebreaker here from tarouza.
Doing this method, I don't really like just kind of hoping you're on the right pixel because it just feels not very consistent. Yeah, so this is a thing you can do. The setup of kind of like holding a diagonal down right out of the door just kind of works if you're on the right pixel, and it's a pixel dependent, and you have to kind of just be on the multiple of something, but you can just get it by walking out of the door like that. Having a bit of a tough time here with Icebreaker, getting the initial positioning, proving to be a pretty big problem. Did get it a couple of times, but this is providing some valuable time for DBlickly to catch up here.
Oh, looks like we got probably some mentor intervention on getting the...
On getting the pixel, yeah.
And getting the pixel, yeah. And I did see.
Once you start shoving the block around that much, I think it means that you've actually lost the door state. So I think at that point, you actually have to get the position again. So this is quite unfortunate. tarouza was ahead by a few minutes, or at least I think, but now is losing almost all of that time to Icebreaker, and DBlickly is catching up here at a fairly good clip. So we may actually see a lead change here at Icebreaker.
Oh, not hitting the switch though.
I see what tarouza is doing wrong actually, which is they are pressing right and not up or down to try and clip through the rail. You can see the that they are tapping right when they really shouldn't be. DBlickly getting a very nice icebreaker, very fast.
Very fast icebreaker. We do get the lead change. But if you're gonna learn icebreaker on the fly, the mentor tournament is the place to do it. Got a mentor coaching you through it.
Yeah, there's some discussion about menu buffer versus sword buffer, and I have to agree that menu buffer is a lot easier. I actually very often just do the menu buffer. Okay, we are actually aborting Icebreaker. We're going to do Ice Palace Bomb Jump. I said that I would be surprised if someone did IPVJ, but here we are. We are going to do IPVJ. Hopefully we do IPVJ and that we don't just like go through ice normally, because that would be very sad. Seriously, please don't go through ice normally. It's really awful.
I do know that Jesse actually does the sword buffers for his icebreakers. I've seen him do it several times on his stream.
Yeah. Not sure I would recommend the sword buffers to a newer player, though.
But as with most tricks in the game, whatever's consistent for you, do that. So we are going to try Ice Palace Bomb Jump. Going to go back, hit the switch, set it up see if we know it on Tarouza's side, or if we're gonna get some on-site coaching again.
Waymaga says that they do.
Oh, cool.
Oh boy, missing the initial spin on Cold Stare here. We're gonna switch to Fire Rod and burn the place down.
Out of control. Yeah, this fight for sure gets out of control fast.
Oh boy, please drink potion if you have potion. Alright, we are gonna hang out on the top. So if you hang out on the top like this, the ice will not explode into 4 directions. It will just kind of shatter on the top wall. And so this is a pretty safe thing to do if you're concerned about health. I also do this in Swordless, because Swordless Cold Stare is not very fun. Oh, it's the charge.
Oh
man, that was a
Cold
very
Stare's down.
scary ending.
Now we did find a tempered sword and a butter sword in ice. Both swords, both of our other swords in Ice Palace.
Oh, I didn't even notice the tempered sword.
Yeah.
It looks like the tempered sword was on the right side, which I.
Oh no!
No! You can't mirror to weak blocks in dungeons!
Oh.
Oh no.
Oh, I've done that in Swamp before. Oh, that feels bad.
Especially after the icebreaker too. That's so unfortunate.
Yeah, that's probably why we did it. We're probably a little getting dead rocked and then walking around the up the mountain and jumping off below the dead rock. Pretty clever there by DBlickly.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is a really big time loss, especially if you're going through ice by the IPBJ route. Like that is just even worse.
Yeah, Ice Palace, not a dungeon you want to be partially through and then have to nope out of and redo. Oh, getting a safety fairy over here on DBlickly's side. Can't say I blame him. It's pretty quick safety. We are about to find out what our Turtle Rock Medallion is. Are we in go mode officially, or do we need Quake?
Maybe it is Quake.
Oh no, we got Ether. We got Ether. We own that coin. That puts us in go mode TR.
Tarouza, you gonna hit the switch? You're not gonna hit the switch? Okay, we do have the big key. So we can actually not do IPVJ and it's fine. Wait, we don't have a small key. Is that small key door open?
I think we may have opened it already. Because we were in the big key chest room.
No, the small key door is not open because we were in the big chest room. We could not have
You're
opened
right,
it.
no, yep.
So Tarouza needs to get the small key from the pot room, or Jesse needs to recognize that, but this is not a very common situation to be in.
We did get some good ice skating there.
Oh yeah. Just missed the dash in at the end.
The most unfortunate spot for the jelly over there in Turtle Rock. There's literally nothing that you can do when the jelly is just on the spot and electric.
Yep, you just kinda... I mean, you can, like, react menu to hookshot and kill it, but that is pretty hard to do. Alright, so we do recognize that we need the key. Now we have to get out of this room, which is also not obvious. There's the switch.
Yes, but going straight to the boss here does mean that we're going to be on Tempered Sword. We did not open the chests, the icebreaker chests.
Mild concern with the magic. That will not be full. So we are going to be down a fire rod shot.
And this will be
bombos.
And this will be a Master Sword.
Okay, thank you. Use bombos. Do not use fire rod there.
And the Pokeball bouncing off of both walls, of course. Oh, DBlickly getting the worst Chain Chomp RNG. We're both
chomps here.
Both of those Chain Chomps blocking the.
Yep.
Oh, we do have a green potion. Yeah, Chain Chomps are terrible. We did get that fairy earlier though, so that does help.
Look at these safeties coming in clutch here.
Yeah,
this is why you get safeties. They're good.
Yeah, that Butter Sword gonna make this Trinex fight faster for DBlickly than tarouza, as well as the Ganon fight in the end.
Yeah, Butter Sword will save a small amount of time over the course of the rest of the run. Depends on tarouza's Ganon, but it could save up to, I would guess, about 40 seconds, depending on how things go. Probably not much more than that, though. I don't know where tarouza is going here.
Oh, we're going to get potions. We're going to get some safeties. So we're going to take the teleporter to the potion shop. I think this is Jesse asking him if he wants safeties and then trying to explain where to go.
I mean, I think it would have been better to just save and quit. Or if maybe you don't want to save and quit, you can go into the whirlpool outside of ice, and that will take you to Zora, and then from Zora you go down. But I think actually save and quit is just better.
That's true. Oh, taking another unfortunate.
No, that
was intentional death warp.
It is, so I think DBlickly was on 3 hearts, and so getting a refill up to 7 and then an 8th out of the big chest is pretty nice.
So unless we get unless we get a key here in this chest, we're gonna be, and we do, so I don't know, we may not check tests.
I think checking laser bridge is kind of okay. It's not that good, but it's okay. tarouza going into Dark World here. I kind of know why. I just don't think it's great. Like, if you really want to check for stuff, you should probably do it after TR.
Ooh, having a little trouble with the maze here. Now we're through. So we are going to check laser. We're at least taking the safety.
Yeah, the safety door is very reasonable, I think. Well, we are not going to get any of the items here. We are just going to go to Trinex.
Yep. With Buttersword, that makes sense, I think. Your Silverless Ganon's pretty good, and you've got a Buttersword. You kind of feel pretty great about Phase 1 and 2. Also got, well, we don't have the cape, actually, on DBlickly's side, because we didn't go up the mountain for Ether Tap.
So Tarouza here, checking Hookshot Cave, getting the mushroom. That's not very helpful, but maybe you can fake powder with it, I guess. Probably won't come into play though.
Oh man. DBlickly on the final dregs of his magic to kill the last head. And Trinex is down.
There's a GT big key thing that I don't know how to activate, so I'm sorry.
I don't think we have a bot. I think it's straight. We're just going to pay attention to chat, and if people want to guess where the big key is, options 1 through 22, you can see where we're going to see it for our runners today. I'm going to go ahead and say, I'm going to say it's in the 7th chest today. How about you?
I'm here to coldly remind everyone that it is a completely random uniform distribution and that your guesses mean nothing, but I'll say 1.
Our guesses mean nothing, but they hold a special place in our hearts. Alright, we're opening Ganon's Tower here. As we make our way through Turtle Rock on Tarouza's side. So we're about Turtle Rock behind.
Alright, so we're out through the 3. Nothing so far. We did get Kano Burna, that's pretty nice. Burna consumes less magic over time than Cape does, but it incurs a startup cost. So there's actually an interesting trade-off to using one over the other. Now for DBlickly, that will not come into play because they only have Burna and not Cape. But for Tarouza, it may actually matter which one to choose for Ganon. And I think using Burna on Ganon is actually better if you want to be safe, because it will last longer. It also lags more, but it does last longer. And if you're concerned about your magic consumption, then choosing the one that consumes less might be a good idea.
Well, we can always go get that half magic.
No, you can't. I mean, going to Lumberjack for like a sword, maybe, if you're on Master Sword. For half magic, no way.
I know. I was joking. Alright, we're down to 8 now. With still no Ganon's Tower.
I think a sword, like from Master to Tempered, might be the only thing that I would say, like, okay, you can do Lumberjack for. Even like silvers, I would say, like, you should learn Silverless. So I think we shouldn't do it.
If that powder picking up in Ganon's Tower is actually kind of nice for the climb later.
Whoa, Tarouza, where are you going? This is not the right way. This looks like an exit, but it's not the exit.
That's, I believe, 13, correct?
I don't know. I'm glad you're counting because I'm not paying attention at all.
I think we're at 13. Half magic's on lumberjack again. That was my joke. I think I was right. That would be 14, I believe.
Yes, you're right. Just counting the rest of the chests.
Right, down to the ice armos here. Just gonna cut them up.
Please use arrows here. Cold Sword is actually not the worst option because a slash does half the damage of an arrow, but it's still pretty bad.
Yeah, armor slice really just don't take much damage from anything. I think the best option is the boomerang.
The boomerang does 1/16 of the bow, so that's 15. Are we going by Price is Right rules here? Or is it just nearest number? Not sure.
Price is Right. I've heard Price is Right lately, so it's looking like Morg, our tracker here. Shout outs to Morg, the tracker, and our restreamer Kaesden.
Ken, you missed. She didn't miss anything, but your there's something off with your counting though. It is 14 or 15. Sorry.
We did get red mail as well in Ganon's Tower, so we're silvers away from being completely armored.
Taking advantage immediately of that red mail to just tank the fire blasts. Just do not care.
We got one last chest here on Laser Bridge that we're looking. Not gonna find silvers there today.
Uh-oh, DBlickly, you gotta be careful. I think they don't know that they can just dash across after taking damage and falling in the pit. But we do see the refill room there. It's very nice. You just get 2 fairies and it's pretty cheap to access. I find myself taking it with reasonable frequency. I think like just the ability to have just more health going to Gauntlet is very valuable because you can take a lot of damage in here, some of it to go fast and a lot of it just on accident.
Oh, Tarouza taking a death to Trinex here. We did take the safety door, I believe.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Right back on Laser Bridge. Let's see if we capture this fairy that we got as a drop. We do. So gold sword slashes do the same amount of damage as a fire red shot or an ice red shot to the land moles.
And gold sword spins do not do extra damage to most enemies. When I say most, I mean like there's actually, I think, 2 exceptions, and they don't matter at all.
Is there? What are the 2 exceptions?
So the 2 exceptions that I know of, the first one is a Hinox, which are the bomb-throwing Cyclops, and a gold spin will actually deal twice as much damage and will kill them in 1 hit. The other exception is green Igors. This one's weird because it actually does less damage. The spin, it's still enough to kill them in 1 hit, but it does less, which is a little funny. But for the most part, on every other enemy, a gold spin and a gold slash are exactly the same.
Wait, so you're saying it takes 2 green Igor gold sword spins to kill them?
No, it takes 1. It just does less damage.
Oh.
Like, internally. It doesn't actually matter. Tarouza is going way overkill there. Getting the double spin with tempered means you only need a slash to finish Trinex off. So going for the spin there was just totally unnecessary.
All right, heading up the final couple of rooms here in the Gans Tower climb. We brought some keys. Let's see if we check for silvers. Not today.
Nah, we've got gold sword. We don't need it where we're going. So DBlickly here having quite a commanding advantage, about 1 entire GT ahead, which is a lot of time actually. Since we know that it's vanilla big key, we can kind of look at NMG and how long GT takes in that, and it takes, for like a really skilled runner, it's about 7-ish minutes. So we're looking at probably somewhere on the order of 8 minutes of time difference here. Actually, it's more because you have to like check chests in GT, so it's probably more like 9.
Let's see how this Aga 2 fight goes here in a moment on DBlickly side. The geometry fight. Oh, that was a really gross pattern. And a blue ball.
Yeah, this is not a great Agatu fight. Agatu is very hard. Yeah, that one should have hit, but he teleported away. Kind of just like Agatu is, you know, as we're seeing here, it's a very, very hard fight, and seeing people kind of pull off reasonably consistent doubles or triples makes it look not that hard, but it's really hard. If you spend like a lot of time practicing Agatu and it doesn't feel like it helps that much because it's so random. But that is Agatu defeated, and we are coming into Ganon. So we don't have very much health, but we do have a gold sword, so hopefully this will go reasonably smoothly, and there's quite a lot of time left for DBlickly to fight Ganon here.
And we've got a pretty big lead. We're not even dropping down, or we're dropping straight in. We're not grabbing the fairy. I don't know if we have any safeties left or not. Do have to be a little bit careful here. Oh, we captured a fairy in the climb.
Ah, we did. You're right. In Gauntlet 5, there was that nice fairy drop. That fairy drop has, I think, has helped out DBlickly twice now. There's one, like the
That's
one
pretty great.
down, and now this one here in Ganon.
It's a lesson in grabbing your safeties when you can, if it's free.
Oh yeah. Also, kind of, if you're gonna pay attention to prize pack info, knowing which one is the fairy pack is really good, because you can kind of know if you can expect these big health refills in specific places. In Turtle Rock and GT, in Ice Palace, for instance, are places you might want this health refill. Alright, so here's Torch Glitch. Alright,
Well,
Silver's
arrow.
are fire, that's not very good at all.
Arrows were pretty mean.
Alright, looks like we're just about to Ice Ormos over on Tarouza's side. Gonna take Ice Ormos out, get our Vanilla Big Key, and start our Ganis Tower climb. Just a couple of more spins. I haven't been counting. I think we're about done.
Almost, just a few more hits here. Ooh, careful there of that bottom left corner. Good on recognizing that and knowing it is a little unsafe, maybe choosing to back up and take it a bit slower.
There we go. Pig is dead. All we need to do is cross the bridge, and we'll have DBlickly as our winner.
And there we go.
And get your GGs in chat for DBlickly.
Finishing with a time of 1:55:13. The timer is not stopped, but that is the official race room time.
Yeah, we're gonna run the timer until Tarouza has finished. I do think we'll finish out here, so. So Espeon, I was told that the Ganis Tower climb is one of the best things to practice in Randomizer. That you have to do it every single seed.
Well, this is a little bit off topic, but I guess I can talk about it. It's true that you have to do it every seed, but it's also the case that it's very hard. GT Climb, not only is it hard to execute once you've practiced it, but it's also hard to practice, just because they are hard rooms. And there's a lot of things to practice in this game. So there's kind of a notion of like your return on investment, or your return on time investment. So there are things which you can practice that will save a decent amount of time, but are also a lot easier to practice and will only require maybe like 10 minutes of practice before you have it completely solid. So GT is definitely a good thing to practice, and it's also good because it makes it safer, unless you kind of finish the game with less equipment. But there's also other things to practice, and it's not good just because it's the thing you have to do every seed.
see. I would agree that specifically the gauntlet just get out of control. BMOs are the worst. Not a fan of BMOs.
Nice getting the sideways bonk on Tarouza's screen. If you try to dash on these conveyor belts, you can get pushed into a block from the side while dashing, and that gives you a sideways bonk. It looks very silly. I think that might be one of the only rooms in the game you can do it.
And if you don't know about it, you'll do it several times before realizing that that's what's happening.
And there's that fairy again on Tarouza's side. Unfortunately, not going to be able to get that as it spawns in the middle of the room as we were trying to leave it.
We captured some fairies in the pre-Armos room, the safety room over there. So we're full up with our little fairy friends. All right, we got the Lamos 3 fight coming up here.
It's not Animizer. You don't have more than 2 Landmoose fights.
Thankfully. Looks like we're joined here
By DBlickly and KegInTheCloset. Hello, GG on the win.
Oh, thank you guys.
Jeez.
That was fun.
Fun seed though, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Plus
well,
I'd swap for the win.
I know both the items. I didn't think it was good. They're both going to be sitting there.
Yeah, we didn't either, but we thought it was gonna troll you and give you mitts and make you go somewhere else to get the
Oh, I said to Keg during it, I said if they give me mitts and I have to do the Smith chain, I don't want to have to do all of that.
Yeah, I was fully expecting mitts as well. So
I think everyone was.
And then mitts.
No, it's actually
It really
like,
feels good. Once
so
you get hookshot, you know, okay, mitts are in here because hookshot doesn't open anything else as we've done the whole game.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I didn't even think of that. Or it could have been on the ether tab. That
Yes.
was that was the last check I had.
Yeah, Tarouza did ether tablet first.
Ether, and of course Ether Tablet decided to give Cape so they could check Spike Cape right afterwards.
So that's what you said, Keg. You said you know, if they go and check ether tab, that's the only different. That'd be the only thing different. Would be them going up and doing the trek for ether tab before they jump in swamp.
I will say, so Tarouza actually did have a lead on you guys going into Ice Palace. A fairly large lead, actually.
I would say about 1 minute lead. It wasn't that big, but it was significant.
It was probably 2 minutes at least, 2 or 3.
Wasn't it? Yeah, okay. Well, probably a little bigger than a minute then, but I don't think it was 3 minutes of lead. Anyway, there was a lead.
So what happened?
Icebreaker did not go very well.
Okay.
No.
And then after Icebreaker,
yeah, we did a lot of Ice Palace, and then we dropped down to go get the big chest, and then on the way out of big chest, we tried to mirror the blocks.
Oh.
Yeah. No, that doesn't work in dungeons.
Doesn't work in dungeons.
You make that mistake once, and then you
So
like.
I feel bad
it's
for
very
that.
painful.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate.
Yeah, and my controller died on desert. Or
Yeah, we saw that.
So that was a loss there, but we saved, like we said before, we saved and quit it prior, so that helped in not having to do.
Yeah, actually, I think that was I think that was like the
sum total of
time loss, because otherwise, kind of, you both did pretty much everything in a reasonably efficient manner.
Just different.
And, yeah, just like different orders. You got boots a little bit earlier. Tarouza got Fire Rod first and got to do Skullwoods a little bit in a slightly better position. So it kind of all balanced out except for the control issue. And so by the time you were both going into Hookless Swamp, it was about even. You're a little behind.
Okay.
And then Icebreaker just is a disaster, and then the ice mirror thing was also very unfortunate.
Yeah, I was fortunate. I think I got Icebreaker in the second spot through in the first try with the block, so it was pretty efficient there.
That was a quick Icebreaker. We mentioned it as soon as you happened. Yeah, you actually both were doing in the Icebreaker room at the same time.
Oh, that's good. It's a good race. It's good for everybody, right?
Yeah.
When did they end up doing Eastern Palace? Did they do that early?
Yeah, they did Eastern before Hera.
Okay.
See, you were right. The way we sequenced it, it didn't make sense to do it at that point. Hera had more checks going up north, and then once we got the stuff in Hera, the hammer was there that was able to push us to the eastern side of the mountain.
They were about the same amount of checks, but the difference is Hera required more to get into.
Yes, you're right. Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. The other consequence of Icebreaker going poorly was that we were in go mode, so we didn't check any of those chests over on that side. And as you guys are aware, there was a sword there, and so we're on Tempered Sword on Tarouza's side right now, fighting Ganon though. Gonna take down the pig.
So he only has Tempered.
Yeah.
He didn't get them both. Okay.
Seems to be handling Ganon fine with just Tempered though.
Yep. Going pretty well. Better at dodging bats than me. I can't dodge the bats to save my life.
No, I have a hard time too.
Yeah, we were all sad for everybody whenever there was a half magic on Lumberjack Ledge, though. Whenever you checked that.
I know.
It's not an item you want to see there.
No, that was just a lost item at that point.
Honestly, if I see that, I just hope Aghanim is required for something else so I can get it.
Yeah. And we didn't check it till more than halfway through.
Yeah, neither runner checked it early, so.
Okay.
Alright, Tarouza getting Torch Glitch. That is very important.
You got it. Good.
So hopefully this Ganon fight will be over in just a few minutes.
Yeah, still sub. I mean, I was very content on the time being some mistakes that I had. Still being sub 2.
Yeah, with the dead controller and having to go into Hookless Swamp.
Yeah.
As the last location.
I know. That was fortunate. No, I appreciate, my mentor in this case, assisting with some of the stuff. We were split on doing Swamp or Eastern. And, I went with Eastern because we had the boat early, so it was an early sign. But, again, that's a 50-50. You didn't know where same amount of checks.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Bow is not a sign of Eastern.
Mm-hmm.
It points to, on average, half an item, because the item is not always in the boss. So, it's not a very good sign. And people treat it like a much bigger deal than it really is.
My mindset was, since we didn't do Eastern, we might as well just skip it, and if we didn't get, or if it ends up being there, we kind of already lost the race, so. But we ended up going back, and that's fine. just
Yeah.
mitigates the time. We could at least dash through it with boots. So
Yeah. No, you're right.
Yeah, tarouza taking a bit of a death on Genna, but we did have fairies.
I think we have another one too.
Yeah, I believe we do. So should be
You're good.
okay.
Yeah. No, but I think Ganon's about dead. Yep, there we go.
nice. Jeez.
Ganon's gone, so GG's to Tarouza as soon as we cross the bridge. I did have one other question for you guys. So, what was the interaction when we saved and quit out of Hera?
Oh, I was mad because he's like, don't do it, and I already did it. He clicked it. It's 'cause
Okay,
I was talking. I'm not used to talking
Yeah.
and playing,
Yeah,
so it distracted me.
that was
So,
actually the second time because we almost did
yeah.
that at Zora.
Yes, we almost did it as Zora with the lamp.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh, I
not
don't
used
think I
to
didn't
again
notice that
talking.
one. Yeah,
Well,
I didn't
it's
notice
'cause
that one.
It's because I paused there, like I stopped. I didn't do anything because he was not yelling, but he was very. He was
So-
He was telling me what to do.
What was really funny is like just about I don't know, like less than a minute later, maybe a minute later, Tarouza was up in Hera, just got the hammer, walked down a little bit, presses select, and we're like, oh no.
Everyone freaks out. It's great. And then Jesse manages to get him to not save and quit in
Yeah.
time.
Yep.
Okay. Good.
Well, we'll probably be joined here in a moment by Tarouza and Jesse. Maybe. But anyway, so what did you think of the seed in general?
I thought it was fun. I got to do a bunch of different stuff. The routing and the assistance with the mentor was helpful. Again, going back to what I said before, talking and playing is not something I do all the time. So it distracted me a little bit, multitasking there. But it was a lot of fun. I thought it was good. A good seed. It mixed you up, and it had to go a bunch of different places, so it was good. And I didn't have to do Smith chain, so I was happy about that.
Yeah, the nice thing is that Mitts were actually, it's our go mode, and Mitts go mode is really nice because there's a lot of stuff that you don't really want to do. Like you don't want to clear Mire, you don't want to do Smith chain, so it's
Yeah.
nice. And we're joined by Tarouza and Jesse. GG on finishing.
Thank you.
Very rough seed.
A little bit, not too bad, but could have been a little bit better. Execution wasn't that great.
All right.
Tried to work on the, oh god, what's it called? Icebreaker. Couldn't get it. Spent a little time on that.
Yeah, Ice Palace was definitely the big turning point. You actually had
sure.
an advantage. You had a slight lead going into Ice Palace, about 1.5 to 2 minutes, and then you get to Icebreaker, and then that goes away. And then you mirrored in the bottom.
Oh, I know, that was hard. I can't believe I did that.
Yeah, it happens to everyone.
It really
once.
does.
It happens to everyone once, and then you're like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I did that. And then you never do it again until you forget, and then you do it again, and you hit yourself for doing it a second time.
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
That may or may not be personal experience.
Uh,
Yeah, there's certain things, certain tricks in the game, or certain things that you're not supposed to do and that you do, and hopefully it's a one-time thing, but you'll probably do it again. Like forgetting to hit the switch in left side swamp.
yeah,
Just something you do, and then you get there and you're like, well, that was dumb.
pretty
Gonna
much.
say, some of us still do that today.
Yeah, no, right? But I mean,
And Keg caught me on that one too when I was doing the.
Oh, yeah, we saw that.
On that spot, I was like, "Why am I doing this again? I don't need to do this." And he's like, "Yes, you do. You need to hit the switch." So I had to go back and hit diver down again. So I lost time.
Had everything in left side swamp we needed.
Yeah.
Not too bad. At least I didn't take a Ganon fall this time.
hey, at least
yeah.
it was in the order that they were in, though. Like,
Yeah.
it could have been worse. It could have been Mitts on the left side of left side swamp, and then Chuck could have been on the right side.
just to
Yeah.
make you do the extra walk. You know?
I think actually, like hookshot there, reversing the order would be even funnier because you get mitts and you're like, oh no, I have to go clear Smith Chain and Ice now, and then you get hookshot and you're like, okay.
Well, and that was the big thing when we were going in there and doing left side or, you know, finishing up swamp. I was like, there has to be something here that leads to mitts. Like hookshot, yes, gives you the rest of this dungeon, but there is nothing else.
Yeah.
Like there was really no other choice.
Yeah.
But we didn't check ether at that time, so that was the only last check we had was ether.
I went up and checked ether because my last seed, I got stuck because I last locationed ether because I got the book after I cleared out Death Mountain.
Oh.
So I was like double dipping dungeons last time looking for hookshot, and it ended up being on ether.
Understood.
So any last or any thoughts on the seed in general? I mean, how's the mentor tournament treating everybody? Like in general, I know DBlickly has said a little bit about just appreciating the whole situation.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it, Tarouza?
I think it's helped a lot. Like literally, I just started playing when we did the async seed, so I've been able to take all the guidance I can get at this point.
That's good.
I'm actually in the exact same boat. My first 2 seeds were asyncs, and then that was it. And so, yeah, the improvement with a mentor, you could just tell. You go back, watch your first week race, and then you watch this race, and you're like, wow, I have improved a lot.
Yeah.
And that's why we're here. So
Yeah,
No, it was a lot of fun.
it was.
Yeah.
All right, so I think we're just about wrapping up here. If you've got
All right.
any last words to say.
No, just good game, man.
Yeah,
I'll keep working on it. I'm gonna break 2 hours one of these weeks.
you'll break it.
You're real close. Like, this was not a good seed to break to, at least.
Oh yeah, it's definitely doable.
Yeah, you'll definitely get it. For sure.
Yes,
All right, like I said, good game, man. Let's see
Yes,
what
sir,
happens
yeah.
next week.
absolutely.
All right, y'all have a good
Next
night.
week.
You too.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Congrats
Thanks.
again to DBlickly on your win.
Awesome. I appreciate it.
All right.
All right, great thank you to both of our runners, DBlickly and Tarouza, as well as our mentors here, KegInTheCloset and Jesse, also known as Radical Sniper 99. So you can find all of their Twitch channels in the command, which hopefully somebody will put in chat as I'm busy talking. And he's also a big shout out to the crew of this race, my co-com VeXtopher here, as well as our tracker operating behind the scenes, morgcl. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I hope that's right. And also to everybody watching. Thank you all for watching. Have a good night.
You too.
You too.